Well, hello there, my friends. Chris Marcus here with you for Arcadia Economics. And today, quick video as we did have earnings out from First Majestic Silver prior to the open today, and wanted to walk you through the details of what they came back with there, where it was a bit of a difficult third quarter as they had an adjusted net earning loss of $10.93 million, which comes to an EPS of negative 4 cents per share, which has left the stock down a good bit on the day, but want to walk you through the details and highlights here so you can get a better understanding of what happened. The production numbers, which I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, came in at 6.3 million silver equivalent ounces based on 2.5 million ounces of silver, 46,720 ounces of gold. Quarterly revenues at 133.2 million, mine operating earnings at 13 million, and operating cash flows before changes in working capital and taxes came in at 14.1 million. Although on the positive side, consolidated cash costs were 14.13 per silver equivalent ounce, while all-in sustaining costs came in at 19.74, which represents reductions of 9% and 8% respectively compared to the previous quarter. And they did also sell 61,400 ounces of silver through their First Majestic Silver store, which is just about 3% of their production, and something that they will be increasing now that they have opened a minting facility to integrate the operations there. And First Majestic also ended the quarter with 257.3 million of cash and restricted cash, and also declared a dividend of 0.46 cents per common share. And as we take a closer look here, we see again revenues at 133.2 million versus 159.8 million in the third quarter of 2022, which again was due primarily to the suspension of operations at Jerritt Canyon, although they had mine operating earnings of 13 million versus 3.3 million last year's third quarter, which was the effect of a lower cost of sales. That was part of the decision to suspend operations at Jerritt Canyon earlier this year. They had a net loss of 27.1 million, which breaks out to a 9-cent loss per share, which came primarily from restructuring and mine holding costs at Jerritt Canyon, as well as a $1.6 million one-time loss following the disposition of La Paria. And after factoring in non-cash and non-recurring items, as well as unrealized losses on marketable securities, the adjusted EPS, as I mentioned, comes in at a 4-cent loss per share. In terms of the precious metals production, the silver production was down 7%, gold production up 4% compared to the second quarter, and silver equivalent production for the Mexican operations was up 5% based on higher tonnage grades and recoveries at Santa Elena. Fortunately, they did reduce their cash costs and all-in sustaining costs, as I mentioned. Cash costs came in at 14.13 per silver equivalent ounce versus 15.58 in the previous quarter, while the all-in sustaining came in at 19.74 versus 21.52 in the second quarter, which was an improvement of 8%. And total capex in the third quarter came in at 32.2 million. And as I mentioned in the beginning, they did declare a dividend of 0.46 cents per share in the third quarter, which is based on their target of 1% of net quarterly revenues. So there are the earnings numbers for First Majestic in the third quarter. I'm going to put the link to this press release below, and I'm going to wrap this one up for now, but just wanted to pass that along. Hope you're doing all right out there, and I will see you again in a little bit.